Hello everybody and welcome back. This is episode number 2 of the Vanarama YouTube's Football Manager 2018 Celtic and Rangers in England, or in the Vanarama series. And as you can see, Rangers are still leading the pack at the moment. Celtic have lost, and that was to Rangers 3-2 away. So Rangers are giving themselves a bit of an advantage there, but have gone on and drawn a few games more than Celtic. So at the moment, Celtic, still with 4 games in hand, have got the opportunity to win them and be 3 points clear of Rangers. So it will be really interesting to see how the season finishes off. Let's have a little look at the cup progress for the two teams. So as you can see, Rangers were on a major winning run. So from the 2nd of September right up until the 23rd of December, they won every single match that they played. Then they drew those 3 games in a row, and looked as though they were going to give themselves a real sort of disadvantage over Celtic until they beat them 3-2. So the pressure's still on Celtic because they've still got to win their games in hand, but the advantage is in their favour. But the only problem there is Rangers went crashing out of the FA Cup to Ipswich 3-0 away. So that's a bit of a worry for them, because if they're looking to push past the Championship, they've got to be able to beat Ipswich, and at the moment Rangers have possibly got the best squad they're going to have until they get there. And that's a bit of a worry for them, but it's one game. Any game can finish 3-0. We've seen it in football before. So looking at FA Trophy third round, they've got against FC United coming up, so we're going to see what the progress is in that competition for them later on. But there you go, Rangers still top of the Vanarama National League, but out of the FA Cup in the third round, and obviously out of Europe earlier on. Okay, so Celtic, they had won their 2 games up to this point. Well, they beat Olympiacos twice, and Sevilla they beat away, but they lost to Benfica. So they lost to Benfica again. Oh no, they drew against Olympiacos there. My mistake, I do apologise. They drew with Olympiacos, but then lost to Sevilla and lost to Benfica. So I don't know how that one played out. So Celtic didn't make the second knockout round, but they did make it into the UEFA Cup. So we're back into this. There you go, Dynamo Kiev they've got in the first knockout round of the UEFA Cup. So FA Cup third round, they went crashing out, but they were home to Newcastle, but they lost 2-1. So that's not so much of a bad thing, but they did lose 2 games in a row there. That would have knocked anybody, really. They drew at home to Fylde in the FA Trophy, but won away 2-1 in a replay. So they're also in the third round of the FA Trophy, so that's still up for grabs for them. So both Celtic and Rangers out of the FA Cup at the third round stage. I was hoping they were going to, either one of them or both of them were going to go on a bit of a cup run. I'm a bit disappointed with that, really. Celtic out of the Champions League, but still in UEFA Cup, so still maybe a little bit further in UEFA Cup they could go. Dynamo Kiev won't be easy, but you never know. Celtic are fully capable. Boreham Wood, so they had to have a replay. So these replays ain't doing them any good, but they do have a bit of a big squad, so that's not so bad. But they drew 2-2 away to Boreham Wood and then beat them 8-0 in the replay. Mental. But there we go. Obviously these teams have done a bit of business, because it is now the 2nd of February, January transfer window. Let's have a little look what they did. Okay, so Rangers brought a couple of players in, Joel Ekstrand, Danny Guthrie and Damien McCrory, and only sold Nico Kranjčar to Hajduk. Nico Kranjčar is obviously a bit older now. Would have been good in this division, mind you. Only made 10 appearances for Rangers this season, though. Interesting. So they've got a bit of money for him, and he would have been on a bit of a wage. So pretty smart, I'd say. Yeah, so they've done all right, but nothing overwhelming. Again, let's have a look what Celtic did. Now Celtic have allowed a fair few players. Well, Doris de Vries isn't a big one, but Forrest, Boyata, Johnny Hayes and Callum McGregor. That's 4 good players for them. Not their very best players, but 4 good players for them all gone. But they're up 14 million this season. And I tell you what, it's not even going to cost them 14 million to get through the season. I don't think, unless actually their wages. But they would have made an awful lot of money from. Let's get a little bit of an idea of what kind of grades they're getting actually. So this is just a random look at Chester. They had 53,594 in the FA Cup third round. They would have had a full house, of course, 3,000 not away. Yeah, as expected. FA Trophy. 41,000 for the FA Trophy. So Woking, they had. Oh no, that was Woking away. Sorry, Torquay at home. The last game, 53,372. So getting over 50,000 a game is quite mental for this division. So yeah, fair play to them. Fair play to their fans for following them quite, spectacularly in this low division. What about Rangers? So in a more recent game, just in December, they played Ebbsfleet at home and won 3-0. Their attendance was 45,967, which is pretty damn spectacular. FA Cup second round, well, it was only 26,000 for an FA Cup game. That's a bit poor. A bit disappointed with that one. FA Trophy, well, that was away, sorry. Is it a home FA Trophy game? No, they've only played away so far in the FA Trophy. Yes. Okay. The most recent home game was home to Tranmere. They had 49,000. That's good, that is. So I'd say they're filling their stadium a little bit more, but Celtic do have more fans through the door. So Celtic have been making slightly more money, but I'd say the Rangers support is a little bit better. Although I'm a bit disappointed with that FA Cup second round game. What about the Aberdeen game? They had 51,000 there against Aberdeen, and they won the Betfred. Oh no, that's at Hampden Park, of course, the Betfred Cup final. So Rangers are the first ones to win some silverware. So fair play to them. Anyway, let's have a little quick catch up on what's going on in the SPL to see what Barrow and Gateshead are doing. Okay, so Barrow and Gateshead looking pretty certain to go down, but Barrow are giving it a good go. They're 4 points behind St Johnstone with a game in hand, but Gateshead have won just 2 games in 25, and one of them was against Barrow, and somehow they won 3-1 away at Hearts. Fair play, that's a good result for them there. They've managed to get 8 draws, but losing 15 games, and it's a really poor goal difference. Gateshead are doomed, I believe. Barrow looking for a bit of a great escape there, but equally, I'd say they're pretty much doomed. The interesting thing is, who is now going to be the leaders of Scottish football without Celtic and Rangers there? Hibernian have an awful lot to say about that, but looking at it, any one of the top 7 could end up winning that league by the end of the season. That's mental. So I've always said that Scottish football will be a lot more wide open and then potentially a little bit more appealing, because when you've got a 1 or 2 horse race every season, it's a bit boring. But now it's wide open, maybe a little bit more interest for the Scottish League now that no one knows who will win. A little bit more interest taken in it. Well, that's my personal opinion on it. A lot of people might differ on that one. But anyway, how about we get to the end of the season now and see how this one finally plays out. I'll catch you guys there. Right then, so here we are on the 30th of May, and there you go. Celtic ended up winning the league, as I suspected they would. They ended up drawing a couple of games towards the end, but Rangers drew another couple as well, and Celtic must have won those other games in hand. So it was a 6-point difference. Rangers and Ebbsfleet obviously were on their tail, but then obviously fell off the boil. Dagenham and Redbridge weren't that far behind. So as the way it works, the top 7 now, or the from 2nd down to 7th, make the playoffs. So let's have a little look. Playoff first round, semi-final, final. So in the playoff first round, yeah, so 7th, 6th, 5th and 4th fight it out in effectively as a quarter-final, because they then go to play in the semi-final, which Rangers end up beating Dagenham and Redbridge just 1-0 on aggregate. Oh, no, there's single matches. What the hell? They're single matches, they're not 2 legs. So in the semi-final, if you win the first round, you get to play them away. So if you finish 2nd or 3rd, you have a major advantage in the playoffs now. And then, drum roll please, did Rangers get promoted also? Yes, they beat Ebbsfleet 1-0 in the final. So there you have it. Celtic and Rangers On the first time of asking, they've been promoted into the English Football League. So congratulations to both of them. Let's have a little look at Celtic and Rangers in the FA Trophy, and obviously Celtic in the UEFA Cup. Let's have a little look how they both got on. So we'll look at Celtic first. Let's see how they got on, because obviously they went out of the Champions League, went out of the FA Cup at the third round. They were still in the FA Trophy. So the FA Trophy third round, they actually lost 3-0 away to Macclesfield. That's surprising. But they went through against Dynamo Kiev. Then they ended up crashing out to Shakhtar Donetsk. And then they only had the league to worry about. So, with Celtic falling out of the FA Trophy quite unbelievably, did Rangers go on to win it? Let's go find out. So here we are, the FA Trophy third round stage where Celtic went out, Rangers went through, they beat FC United of Manchester 1-0. So look at that to see, yeah, they had 37,000, that's not bad. So scroll it down, FA Trophy, they went through the fourth round on a replay after beating Concord Rangers. Yeah, they ended up winning that one at home. Semi-final first leg, they won away to Southport, and then they won at home to Southport. So they got the final of the FA Trophy, and they won 2-0 against Welling. So Rangers winning 2 trophies, well, 3 trophies if you consider the playoffs. So the Rangers treble, the FA Trophy, the Scottish League Cup, and of course the National League playoffs. Celtic winning 1 trophy, taking the National League title. So there we go. That's Celtic and Rangers. Have a little look how their players got on the player stats charts. Okay, so Celtic ended up getting some players on this chart, the average rating chart, and the end. Lee Griffiths finishing second in that. I've got a feeling that maybe players don't make this chart unless they played a percentage of the games everybody else has. And Celtic were 4 games behind, and it was quite early on that we looked at it, so maybe it was something to do with that. But you see, Rangers players had a better season all round, you know, for individual match ratings and things like that. Obviously Dembele, Patrick Roberts, Stuart Armstrong and Scott Sinclair all got on here in the end, and obviously lots of Rangers players. Michael Zyro on loan as well. For the goals, Lee Griffiths ran away with it, 36 goals in the Vanarama National League. Eduardo Herrera really far behind with 21 in second, Dembele with 20 in third. So who won the clean sheets? It was Fotheringham. Craig Gordon coming in at second. So there we go. Let's have a quick look at how Barrow and Gateshead got on in the SPL. So Gateshead comfortably got relegated. Barrow went into a relegation playoff where they would have played against Dunfermline and lost over 2 legs 4-1. So Barrow and Gateshead both go down to the Ladbrokes Championship now. So that there is that for the season. Let's have a quick gander, shall we, at how the other leagues in England have fared. So there's the Premier League. Chelsea won it again. Man United came second, Tottenham third, Liverpool fourth. Quite surprisingly, Man City finished 5th and Arsenal finished 6th. But any one of those teams could have won it right at the end of the season. That's close. That's close, isn't it? That's quality. That Everton relegated. Wow. And looking that way in real life as well, maybe. Well. Sky Bet Championship. Sheffield Wednesday, Preston and Norwich all go up. Nottingham Forest, Sheffield United go down with Burton. Bit surprised by them too. Bit surprised by Preston. No Leeds. Oh, no Villa. Villa played awful. That was an awful season for them. And what's then? Sunderland were bad as well. They almost went down. Well, League One. MK Dons and Rotherham and Walsall have all gone up. Blackburn stayed behind. Wigan stayed behind. Portsmouth didn't. Well, Portsmouth done okay. But Bristol Rovers, Gillingham, Plymouth went down, and Rochdale. Not too surprising for those bottom 4. But a bit surprised Walsall went up instead of Blackburn. Blackpool had a good season. Peterborough did decent as well. League 2, finally. So, Port Vale and Grimsby both went down. Not a major surprise there, but Coventry, Exeter, Luton and Barnet went up. Barnet's a surprise, but Coventry Exeter and Luton aren't a surprise. And our beloved Newport County, or my beloved Newport County, if you're not anything to do with the county, finishing in 19th, a bit disappointing considering how good we're doing in real life. But Forest Green had a good season in the end, and Carlisle, Swindon, Colchester made up the playoff losers. So yeah, all looking pretty interesting at the moment. Pretty damn interesting. So Celtic and Rangers will be in this division next season, taking the place of Port Vale and Grimsby. And obviously, the 4 teams we just saw who went down from League One will be there. Coventry, Exeter, Luton and Barnet will not be joining them. So, that's the end of our first season. That's the end of our second episode. I'm personally finding this one extremely enjoyable. Quite interesting how things are playing out. And, yeah, it's gone really well so far. I'm looking forward to probably another promotion for Celtic and Rangers. They'll be in League One next season, I believe. Next season they'll be in League Two, but they'll get promoted next season to League One. And if they do it first time, and they got a bit of money in the kitty and they make the right signings in League One, I believe they'll both be in the Championship in the first time of asking as well. So that's how good it's going at the moment, guys. Hope you're enjoying it. Hope you're sticking with it. And hopefully we'll see you ready to kick off another season in episode 3. Thank you very much, and it's cheery.